Hey everyone, welcome to episode 99 of the Live Beyond Average podcast. Got my co-host here, Dustin Luebke. Are you mad that you're not episode 100?
No, the best of the end, I guess. Just a little short, just like usual.
Like usual. After Devin's podcast the other night, Matt actually texted me. He was like, dibs on episode 99, or dibs on episode 100. And I was like, well, you better hurry up because I have Dustin down here on Monday for episode 99. So, and we all know he's living in a combine right now and that he's not going to make it down for episode 100.
No.
There's no chance.
No.
I'll film something before he makes it down.
We can put his picture right here.
Yeah, we just dub him in. If he had enough service, I would do like an Instagram live with him or something for episode 100. But his service up there is so sketchy. It's not a good deal. I can't even convince him to come down with like a bottle of whiskey or something.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's had a rough year and it's been really wet and his pictures are just awful. Sinking in mud through the snow with a combine and
8 feet deep.
December is awful.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, man. It's been crazy. But we're just wrapping up here. We're already after the first week of December already. And me and Devin actually just, the other day we were talking about, a few of our hunts in November. And at the end of that podcast, I had talked about how, this was the first year that I was 100% fully employed and that you would think that I would have hunted more this year than any other year over the past 7 because of that. But it's just kind of funny because I didn't actually. I hunted less this year than any other year. And I just found it funny that we talked about, we touched on that the other day. And then what me and you were talking about this morning, how that all ties in. And so we actually wanted to just take a minute and talk about, managing those ways of overhunting or whatever it is in your life.
Yeah.
We're using hunting as the talking point here, but really applicable to anything in your life about just managing. You use the term managing that burnout. It can be a ton of different terms. Just managing how much you do of something in comparison to other areas in our life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so we had some good examples that we touched on this morning on, a couple of different years where we, went crazy when it came to how much we were out in the field.
Yeah, mine was definitely 2017. I really just got re-diagnosed again for a third time with cancer. This is kind of what they're doing for treatment. They said you're just going to keep doing this until the next thing comes along. So it's kind of inevitable. There's no end to it. And I was using hunting as my coping mechanism for this. And I said, well, if I can get out, I'm going to, and I can focus on that, and I'm not going to think about the bad. Well, for me, that was great, because I love it. But I literally was just narrowed my focus down to just that. I put my family on the back burner, my wife on the back burner, and I really went nuts. And did I have some great encounters that year? Yes. Did I get a good deer that year? Yes. But it took its toll.
Right.
And I ended up, I went out west, did 2 times archery hunting for 4 days each time. I ended up missing a really nice 4x4 at 68 yards. Awesome encounter. One of the things I was struggling with at the time, I still do, is cramps. And I ended up drawing on that buck 4 times and having to let down because my back was cramping up or my legs were cramping up.
Sure.
It was just one of those things that was just eating at me that I couldn't reach this goal. And I was, so I just pushed harder and pushed harder. So, then I came back and then I went out the next time and I ended up meeting a buddy out there and we got right in on these deer, and I actually missed another 3x4 at 62 yards.
Okay.
And that one jumped the string as I shot, and it's just such a letdown, obviously, when you miss.
Especially when you're closing that gap and you're in that kill range.
Yes, and then there was 2 deer, and he shot at the other one and went over the top of it, so it was just kind of like, shoot.
Yeah.
So then the third deer that I missed that year was a really big 3x3 that I had some phone scope footage of from the previous time I was out there, and I was up on a top of a ridge looking down into this really nasty cut, and he was bedded down there, and he was kind of antsy because it was super windy, and I was getting blown all over. And I ranged him. He was just over 40 yards. Well, it was straight down. So I'm like, oh, that can't be 40 yards. It's got to be like 30. Trust your equipment. The rangefinder was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was. And so I adjusted because I'm like, well, the wind's pushing that way, so it's going to blow my arrow a little bit. So I'll shoot for 30. Yeah, I hit right behind him. And pretty much the arrow hit and slapped him in the butt, and he took off running, 2 miles. So I really got defeated there, and it was just like, oh darn, that's, there's my chances, because rifle hunting's coming up. Well, then meantime, back here on the east side of the state, I had this giant whitetail, stickers everywhere, and right in my wheelhouse, a couple of really cool trail cam photos that, face on and from behind.
You're getting it all.
So here I'm like, oh, I want to go out west and hunt out there. I want to be here. And I just totally zoned in and really overdid it.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit that was just awful for everything that year. And I ended up going back out rifle hunting. And if anybody's ever hunted public land, western South Dakota during rifle season, it's a challenge. There's a lot of people out there, and you're fighting for space. And I saw a lot of people that first opening morning, so I ended up pushing way into the middle of this piece and ended up shooting my deer, my 3x4 muley at 29 yards. I couldn't buy a shot shorter than, 4, well, that one was 40, but long 60-yard shots with my bow, and I walk right up on one taking a nap.
Yep.
And then, thankfully, as I'm in there, I shoot this deer. I'm like, oh, crap, I'm 3 miles in here from each road.
Mm-hmm.
So then, thankfully, Jordan and Matthew were nice enough to walk back out there and help me pack him out. And that was cool, too, because that was one of those...
That was awesome.
You get to share that experience with somebody, and the help is awesome.
It's always nice.
Holy cats.
It's like you can do it yourself, but it's nice when you have somebody help.
Yeah, and the solo hunting's fun.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy sharing it with somebody, or
Agreed.
having somebody to bounce stuff off of.
I agree.
Yeah, so that was, it was this huge high, and then went back home and started hunting that whitetail again, and really overhunted him just because, like I said, I was so stuck on, I'm going to focus on this and not think about my health or anything else. And yeah, he ended up getting shot by a rifle hunter 1.5 miles from where I was, and then it was just like, psh, after that, just totally let the wind out of my sails. I was like, holy cow, that took a lot out of me. And then you start realizing what your year was.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't remember a whole lot else except for these 3 times. So then the following year, it was like, well, I can't do that again.
Right.
So that's kind of where we talked about that managing burnout was, I went all in and all focus on that, and it was just not healthy.
Yep.
It's a hobby. It's my passion. It's my hobby. But that's just it. There's got to be that management to that. I know you were saying season 4 was kind of the same way for you.
Yeah, and I mean, we still had, we were figuring it out because even seasons 1, 2, and 3, you're figuring out what you're doing in the sense of when you're filming a TV show. And so you're trying to get as much content as possible. And, after season 3 was kind of that big, like more of a breakout year for us. We did some different things, and our style changed a little bit on what we actually were wanting to do. And so then season 4 happened, and we just it was one of those years we drew a ton of tags between me and Matt and Matthew, and we were in Matt, between all of us in the States, we had South Dakota archery, North Dakota archery, 4 or 5 different hunts in South Dakota for rifle, and then we had Matt. We filmed an elk hunt in Montana for Matt, an elk hunt in Colorado, me and my dad. We were in New Mexico, I think twice, one for antelope and one for maybe Barbary sheep. That might have been season 3, I can't remember, but definitely in New Mexico once, maybe twice. And then we had a week-long trip in Alaska, and I think I'm missing something. It was 6, I think it was 7 states. I think I'm missing a state in there somewhere, but it was like 7 different states in a 3-month period of hunting. And it was like the same thing. It's like you're so jacked about it because as outdoorsmen and hunters, like you crave a 3. Like there's obviously stuff to do year round, but there's this really heavy like 2.5 month window where you're like, I gotta wait a whole another year for this. So I gotta be out, and you feel like this obligation to be out. You know what I mean? And yeah, and like you said, it's like you just go in this zone focus mode, and you look back and you're like, yeah, literally all I remember is the hunting. Like you don't remember anything else because it's like all it was.
Right.
And the balance isn't quite there. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I mean, you put things that shouldn't be put second or third or fourth or fifth, second, third, fourth or fifth.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're putting your family behind certain things. You're putting your wife and your relationships behind certain things. Like it happened. And so, for me, going into like a season 5, we're still busy. We're still gaining content. But it wasn't quite as bad, but still busy. And then for me, it was just like working out ways to like get myself more time. So like what I did in our season 6, like we filmed season 6 stuff, but we went out and we went like filmed long form films, filmed less hunts, filmed long form films, and then that was like our YouTube season 6. But then for our TV airing season 6, we did like this best of the first 5 seasons of Run to Gun. Right. That way, when I go and air season 7 on TV, I'm going to be airing last year's YouTube stuff, and then this year's stuff that we did right now will go on YouTube, and I'll use it next year for TV. So it's like I bought myself a window of time because I'm like, okay, I got to figure out something. I'm way too busy because here's the thing: is like I was out in the field hunting, but then what do I have to do? Yep. I'm coming right back in. And I'm dropping terabytes upon terabytes of footage. I'm shifting through it. I'm editing through all of this footage, making. So it's like you go from in the field to like dungeoning yourself up in front of a computer,
right? Which
isn't any better. You know what I mean? It's still like, and so yeah, it was totally just finding like, okay. And so then this year, like I talked about a little bit, and how we got on the subject was, this year I thought I'd be out more than any, just because of being self-employed. But I finally I feel like I'm 31 now. Right before I turned 30, I talked about this way back like a year ago in a podcast, how I hit this just this different level of self-awareness where I was spending more time by myself, and so I was having this time to reflect and think about why I do certain things or why I am the way I am or whatever it is, and really just stop caring about certain things or whatever it is. But I really think about now that I'm 31 years old, I was really started learning this new self-awareness where I was like, dude, I'm feeling like I have to go film this hunt, or I have to go hunting, or I have to fill my archery buck tag because I have to have the footage for it.
Right.
And I finally realized that this year, and I was like, dude, I feel like I have to go. I feel this obligation to go fill this tag. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And so finally I felt, learned this little piece of self-awareness, and I'm like, I'm not going to go. There was several weekends that me and Matthew planned on going out archery hunting and putting in 4 days again, a Thursday through Sunday deal or a Friday through Monday. And literally would text Matthew Thursday night and be like, hey, Dan, you got the weekend off, do what you want. I'm not going to come out. You cool with that? And he's like, dude, totally cool with that. And I'm like, sorry, I just feel like I have to come out versus I want to come out. And he's like, that's really cool, man. I felt the same way. And I'm like, great.
Yep. Yeah, you're not only burning yourself out, he's getting it.
He has to do it too. Exactly. So it's another person you're affecting.
Yes. You
know what I mean? Because so it's just learning my decisions are affecting a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I just feel learning these new ways to manage it. We're still not going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect in the future, but we're learning new ways to still feed these passions
Yes.
that you have. For me, feed some of my obligations that I just need to do, as my business.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have to have 14 films a year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And this year, we're going to have less films than we've ever had. I think we might have 4 or 5 this year. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Yep. I don't care. I don't have an obligation to... It's my own standard that I set, but it's me finally realizing, hey, I set that standard that I need 10 or 12 or 13 or 14 hunts filmed. Nobody told me I had to do that.
Right.
I told myself that.
Right.
So it's just like sitting back and then after telling myself that, not judging myself on it, being fine with it. And it is what it is, and like learning from the mistakes. And, I spent more time at home this fall than I ever have, and definitely don't regret that. And just trying to fix challenges and problems and manage those things. And it falls into like what you said was managing the burnout. It really does.
Right. Yeah, this year I definitely looked at it a little bit different. This is the first year I haven't climbed into a tree stand.
Yeah.
And I'm actually okay with it.
Yep.
Right away at the beginning of the year, I was like, man, I gotta go find another spot. Maybe I can hit up this spot or that spot. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna push it.
Yep. Not the year.
Not the year. So when I went out with Neil and we got our archery bucks that first time we went out, it was awesome. I had a great time helping Neil after I got my buck. That was a blast.
So another bonus hunt.
And then I had another buddy Trav come out, and I kind of went out and did a little pre-scouting hunting, just a quick 2-day trip out there.
Yep.
Took the dog, did some pheasant hunting, just more relaxed. And then when those guys came back out, I kind of looked, and he really wanted to get a mule deer, so I was doing more scouting for him and looking for mule deer, and he's kind of giving me the beans because, I was showing him pictures of deer that I had found or that I'd seen that morning, and he's like, why didn't you go after that? I'm like, well, he did. He walked like 50 yards from me, and I could have shot him 3 times. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I dropped one off at the taxidermist, picked my meat up from the locker.
Yeah.
I said, I don't need to fill that tag.
Yeah, you're $700 in already, plus gas. Yep.
So I said I don't need to fill that tag unless it's something that is a trophy animal. And not that I'm saying I'm a trophy hunter, but...
No, but we shouldn't have this obligation that we spent $40 on this tag that it has to be filled.
Right.
It's just not true.
So that's another thing of, kind of progressing, I guess, with your burnout is... With the prior years, I would have looked at that tag and said, hey, I got this one filled in September. I'm going to go, gung-ho on this to try and fill this tag. And, I just said, well, I just put my bow on my pack, and we ended up finding a really nice mule deer for Trav, and we were able to get an awesome stock on that one.
Yeah.
Weren't able to get it, but it was something that, it was really fun. It was really fun to do, and took a lot of pressure off of me because I didn't have to get that deer. I didn't have to get another deer.
You didn't have to feel like you needed to sign that name and notch the tag.
Yeah.
Something that me and Matthew implemented last year was, and we did it by accident, and then we started doing it on purpose. We did it 2 years ago. We did it by accident. Last year we implemented it on purpose. This year we implemented it. But our Septembers are usually really busy, like everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. You draw an elk tag, you have your early archery, September's really busy, and you're just jacked to be out. And then, the beginning of October can be as well. If we have an antelope tag, we still have, if you still have an archer tag to be working on. But we've started implementing these, whether that tag is filled or not before the season, we put down some weeks where, we're not hunting these weekends. Matthew, cool, you have a girlfriend here in Sioux Falls, these are your 3 weekends from September to the end of October. We will not schedule anything. And then hopefully something else happens where we kill out early. We open up this weekend. And so we started sitting down and implementing these dates, nothing. No matter what. Even if the previous weekend we had a toad spotted and we were hunting, not doing it. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. Or if I want to come out and hunt, I'm not counting on you to be there filming it because I told you we're not doing anything that weekend. And so we started implementing that, and it actually made me too, made me think about being home more. That was a great tactic and thing that worked really well for us just to, again, manage and balance.
Yeah.
Balance everything.
Yeah, there's
100 ways to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen guys this year that filled 6 tags in South Dakota, which is, I mean, more power to them. That is awesome.
I've had that year.
Feat.
Yep.
That's awesome. But for me, for this year, I wasn't able to do that, nor did I want to do that this year. Maybe someday down in the future when I don't have other obligations and kids and wife at home that or obviously wife at home, but when your kids are at college or whatever, I can go out and do all that.
Yep.
But I think this year really helped me focus on, all right, I'm going to take these short little trips here and there.
Yep.
And I can really devote all my focus to that. And then when I'm not there, I'm not there. I'm not trying to sneak out into a stand every morning or every evening for this week, leaving your family to eat supper by themselves or whatever. And that's really just helped with that burnout. And now,
are you finding that you're getting like the days out were more enjoyable for you then? Any difference there at all, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I feel like that year that I was just so gung-ho, I was in such a mindset of, I got to get this animal, I got to get this, the biggest, the best, I got to get it. They're putting so much pressure on myself that I was like, well, if I didn't get it this day, I have to get back out.
Right.
I have to get back out, and I have to get, and that it just, when you look back, it wasn't as enjoyable. Where, if you take the shorter 2-day, 2.5 day, and really just devote yourself and kind of just block that. I did, over my birthday, I went out and I literally put my phone on, I just shut the data off.
Yep.
So people could still text me and call me if need be, but I shut the data off so I didn't get all the notifications. It was awesome.
Nice. But I totally get it when you say like the days meant more to you. Like 2 years ago, when I shot this guy, this mule deer, like total mule deer, I think we maybe hunted like 3-4 days archery or something like that. And then last year, I and you don't really realize it until after the fact, but I shot such a nice deer that I had this pressure to do it again. And like we have the day 13 film out, like we put 13 days into archery hunting mule deer, and I had an absolute blast. Like it was great hunting. We saw a ton of deer. Like it was probably one of my funnest. Like I didn't shoot a deer as big as that one, but overall like fun was awesome.
Right.
But then this year I found that like I was still burnt from the 13 days of going ham from last year. That like me and Matthew were hiking into the same area, and like we were a couple days into it. Like went out one morning, we were fogged in, so that sucked. But like a couple mornings in, I was just like, I could just tell like I didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? So like those days didn't mean anything to me versus like scheduling the days and being like, all right, these are my days, go and just love them and like take enjoy that hunt versus like this obligation. And you're just learning to manage it all.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And just learning to find what works for you, experiment on some things.
I think
communicate with your family. Like
that goes
it's tough.
I mean, we just chunked it into a little hunting thing, but it goes for exercise too and fitness. I mean, you see a lot of people that, especially now with the first of the year coming up, jumping on that, and there's a lot of different types of at-home workouts where people are filming themselves, they're trying to get other people in their pyramid stuff, which that's fine, but you get so wrapped up into that, and then you kind of forget about everything else. It could be with work.
It's with our jobs. It's with whatever it is you're putting a lot of time into.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just managing it all the right way. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I look back to 7 years ago, and I talked to some guys that I would run into. We were on year 2 of TV or year 3 of TV, and guys would be like, "Oh yeah," I meet a guy. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, we filmed a show for 9 years or whatever. We don't anymore." I'm like, "Oh, why did you do that?" He's like, "Just burnt out of it, whatever, sick and tired to be away from my family, whatever." And I was just like, "Oh, that sucks." Like, I walked away from it like, whatever, dude. Like, you must not have really actually liked it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm on year 7, I'm like, I totally get that guy.
Yeah.
And like, I wish I could have learned a little bit more sooner from just listening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and I listened to several, even another hunting guy that was like, yeah, just, his family life was rough there because of how he manages hunting. And I'm like, oh, like, I've totally done that too. Like, we've gone through arguments that we probably didn't need to go through if it wasn't for choice to be out as much as I was out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to figure it out in that sense, and like, just learn. And hey, we're human.
Mm-hmm.
We're totally imperfect. And I'm gonna screw up again with it for sure.
Yep.
But because I get excited when you draw certain tags, something happens. You get excited. You're amped up, and you're like,
well,
lock
you
in
focus
mode.
your, from that springtime when you start drawing tags all through the summer.
Yeah.
You're getting excited. So, and that's part of the burnout too. Is I think you get so excited and you have this, false sense of like what it's going to be. You build yourself up to like, oh, this year is going to be so amazing. And then when it doesn't start living up to your expectations or things don't start going right, it starts kind of crumbling and falling apart.
Right.
So I think that too.
And that just goes in other areas of your life.
Yep. Bunch of different rivers going out from that.
Oh, totally. And you think about the time spent, like I'm using hunting as an example. Apply it to your work, apply it to your fitness, whatever. But like for hunting wise, like application season's already open for some states already. Like Alaska's open right now. Mm-hmm. January it really starts kicking off again. So it's like time spent in front of the computer researching. Where do you want to put your points that way? Like it never ends if you're not careful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how it is with work too. Work can never end.
Yeah.
If you're not careful. You know what I mean? Working out and fitness and health can never end. Can always take all of your thought process and time if you're not careful. Whatever that is. Netflix, dude. You know what I mean? It's just like, whatever it is. Your cell phone. Like, all those things never end if we're not careful.
Right.
So it's challenging. But going back, rewinding, not judging yourself too harshly on it. I mean, realize the mistake. Realize where we can improve.
Right.
We all have to improve, no matter what in life. We're humans.
Yes.
Like, our life is going to be continual improvement. It doesn't mean we have to, like, drastically judge ourselves. We're getting into a deep depression and struggle with it. Like, dude, struggle with that myself when it comes to judging. But, learning not... I used to judge myself really heavily on that stuff. Mm-hmm. Getting way better at it now.
Right.
I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'll get to it when I get to it. Like, that wasn't as important. Dude, I haven't done any editing yet this year, and we're in December. Yeah, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to. I know I'll get to it. I'm not going to, like, put extra weight and stress.
Right.
You know what
Especially
I mean?
This time of year.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of, we're kind of winding down on the hunting season. Now we're getting into the holidays.
Yep.
What's your focus? Family.
Exactly.
Get through the holidays. Once holidays get going, kids are back in school.
Yeah.
You have plenty of time to do that stuff through the winter and when it's cold and windy and
we got a long winter here, so I'm going to do some inside work. Right. My basement's still not finished yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot left to do. You know what I mean? Like 2 years of working down here, not a lot done. But Matt gives me crap every time he watches the podcast. He's like, "When are you going to finish?" He gives me crap for that outlet up there. Yeah. He's like, "At least put an outlet on that one up there." And I'm like, "It'll be winter time soon, and I'll do some work."
Yep.
But you know what I mean? It's just like one of those things too. Like, yeah, whatever. Like it'll get done when it gets done.
Yeah.
And that just, we're talking about a couple specific things, but it goes into everything.
Right.
Moves into every aspect or facet of life. So
managing the burnout and managing your focus.
Yeah.
Probably the main thing.
Agreed, dude. That was good. That was a good random podcast. We didn't have much plans. It's kind of our usual. No. Sometimes we're planned out. Sometimes we just start talking. We're like, you know what? We should probably flip on the camera.
Yeah, there's a few of those days where we're tired of talking before we flip on the camera.
Because we're upstairs talking for an hour and a half. Me and Devin do the same thing. Yeah. We BS for an hour and a half before the podcast, and then you realize you should have just filmed the entire thing right there, and it would have been a great podcast.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few more coming up.
Yeah.
We got some more ideas, more like late season, after the season stuff.
Yeah.
After the season, what you kind of do. So those will be coming up probably either end of December, early January. We'll see how the holidays
probably go. Early Jan. And then we got, me and Dustin both have hunts in February in New Mexico. So hopefully, I'm hoping when we're down there, we do a group one with Justin.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And film get a couple, either one long form, like 2-hour guy, or a couple out there. I'm sure we'll do something. But we have quite a few days out in the field down there, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, and a long drive down there, so we could probably film on the drive down if we wanted to.
Yes.
I don't know how the angles would all work, but
yeah, it's gonna be we might just audio it all versus video when we come to doing something like that. But it'll be fun, man. We still have some fun stuff coming up here this year. Always a lot to do, and it's pretty awesome. So
yeah.
I hope this different angle today on today's podcast, but that is why this is called the Live Beyond Average podcast, not just Run to Gun Hunting podcast or Run to Gun Fitness podcast. We like to cover anything and everything that just applies to live. For you, that could be living a life beyond the linear confines of average, and what it is to us to live beyond average, and that it's a constant pursuit to do so. So thanks for tuning in. Share it with a friend that you think this could help out, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.